For weeks now, one story has consumed South Africa. The xenophobia. The marches. The attacks. The celebrities and government silence. The burning streets of Durban. And we have covered that story deeply, truthfully, and without apology. But here is what nobody is telling you. While every camera in the country was pointed at Durban, 3 other stories were unfolding that will affect every single South African, rich or poor, born here or not. Story number 1. Our president is facing impeachment. For the first time in South Africa's democratic history, a parliamentary committee has sat down to decide whether Cyril Ramaphosa should be removed from office. Story number 2. The petrol price just went up again. And what is coming in July is even worse. Story number 3. Mexican cartel members were running a 1 billion rand drug factory on a South African farm. And this was not the first time. This is South Africa Simplified. And tonight, we give you the full picture. But before we get in, please help this channel grow by clicking the like button and subscribe. Thank you. Chapter 1. The impeachment nobody is talking about. On the 1st of June 2026, for the first time in South Africa's democratic history, a parliamentary committee established to consider the impeachment of a sitting president met for the very first time. The 31-member committee was established following a constitutional court ruling in May 2026 that compelled Parliament to act after the court found that Parliament had behaved unconstitutionally by blocking impeachment proceedings 4 years ago. So what exactly did Ramaphosa allegedly do? The scandal known as Farmgate stems from the theft of more than $500,000 that had been concealed inside furniture at Ramaphosa's Phala Phala game farm in Limpopo in 2020. The money had allegedly been stuffed inside a sofa. Ramaphosa has denied any wrongdoing, saying the money came from the sale of buffalo at his farm. But the Constitutional Court's Chief Justice ruled that Parliament's 2022 vote to block the inquiry was inconsistent with the Constitution, and ordered the process to begin again. Now here is where it gets interesting. The ANC holds only 9 of the 31 seats on the committee, meaning the ruling party cannot control the process independently, and would require opposition support to protect the president from any adverse outcome. Makoshuli, Gwana, of the Rise Mzansi party was elected to chair the committee, a significant victory for opposition parties who argued that the ANC's preferred candidate should not lead a process that involves their own president. Even if the committee recommends formal impeachment proceedings, the president would still likely survive a final vote in the lower house of parliament, where a 2/3 majority is required to remove him from office and the ANC retains more than 1/3 of the seats. But here is what matters most. South Africa is already dealing with xenophobia, a cost of living crisis, and a broken education system. And right now, at the very top of the government, the president is fighting for his political survival. This is the leadership vacuum that is allowing every other crisis in South Africa to go unaddressed. Chapter 2, Your Petrol Price, and the Government's Broken Promise. From the 3rd of June 2026, South African motorists faced another painful petrol price increase of 1.43 rand per litre, hitting every household, every taxi fare, every loaf of bread and every bag of groceries in the country. But the real story is not the June increase. The real story is what is coming next. The National Treasury has confirmed that the remaining 50% of the temporary fuel levy relief will expire on the 1st of July 2026. When that happens, the general fuel levy will completely return to its baseline rates, meaning July is highly likely to bring another heavy tax-driven hike to South African pumps. Let us put this into perspective. In January 1976, petrol in South Africa cost just 21.1 cents per litre. By May 2026, that had climbed to 26.52 rand per litre, an increase of roughly 12,470% over 50 years according to data compiled by Statistics South Africa. And the cause of this latest spike is not simply global oil prices. The biggest driver of June's petrol increase is a domestic decision, the National Treasury's choice to claw back 50% of the emergency general fuel levy relief that had been cushioning consumers since late last year. The Durban Chamber of Commerce has expressed serious concern. Financial experts warn that the impact of each fuel hike goes far beyond the petrol tank. It feeds directly into the cost of food, transport and almost every essential in the monthly budget. The real danger is that many consumers will try to bridge the gap with credit, and that is where households fall into a debt spiral. And while all this was happening, while families were counting their rands at the petrol station, Parliament was busy with the very same president who promised to fix the economy. The question South Africa must ask is simple: who is running this country? And who is it being run for? Chapter 3. the 1 billion rand cartel factory on a South African farm. On the 13th of May 2026, South African police raided a remote farm in Swartruggens in the Northwest Province, approximately 170 kilometers northwest of Johannesburg. And what they found will leave you speechless. Officers seized 481 kilograms of methamphetamine, crystal meth, and arrested 11 suspects including 5 Mexican nationals. The laboratory is estimated to be worth more than 1 billion. The accused include 5 Mexican nationals, 2 Mozambican nationals, 1 Zimbabwean national and 3 South African citizens. Meaning local South Africans were working hand in hand with an international cartel operation. Yes, you heard that right, we are involved in this. And preliminary investigations suggest this may be the 4th drug laboratory in South Africa linked to Mexican criminal networks. Not the first. The 4th. Police also found a gold processing plant with gold-bearing materials on the same property, confirming this was not just a drug operation but a full multi-criminal enterprise hidden in plain sight on a quiet farm in Northwest. Now pause and think about this carefully. While Operation Dujula was marching through Durban chasing Nigerian food vendors and Ghanaian shop owners out of the country, Mexican cartel members were on a farm less than 2 hours from Johannesburg manufacturing meth and processing gold. This is the 4th such operation to be discovered. Which means the first 3 already happened. Which means this network has been embedding itself into South Africa, quietly, systematically, while the country's attention was directed elsewhere. South Africa is a key drug transit hub according to the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, driven by its geography, its global trade links and an expanding market for synthetic drugs. And right now, international criminal networks are exploiting every weakness in South Africa's border control and law enforcement systems. The people marching against foreigners in Durban should ask themselves one question. If you removed every Nigerian, Ghanaian and Zimbabwean from South Africa tomorrow, would the cartels pack up and leave? You already know the answer. South Africans, our country needs your full attention. Not just on the stories that make the loudest noise, but on every story that shapes your life. This is South Africa Simplified. We will keep telling the full truth even when it is uncomfortable. Like this video. Share it. Subscribe. Because South Africa deserves to know everything.